Well, hello to all of you. My name is Timothy, and it's really nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you as we take this course together. So, a little bit about me. By far, the most exciting thing happening in my life right now is I'm getting married in about 2 weeks. So, my beautiful fiance and I are very busy with all of the wedding plans and things of that nature. I'm also currently a graduate student way across the ocean over here in the United Kingdom, and I'm studying educational neuroscience. In this field, we study different types of learning disorders. In particular, I study a mathematics learning disorder called dyscalculia. We also study learning in general and how kids learn best. Several years ago, before I started my graduate studies, I had the wonderful opportunity to teach in Alaska in a Yupik village. And this was just a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed it. And that's actually also why I'm taking this class currently with all of you, is I'm hoping to become recertified to teach in Alaska again after I graduate. There's many things I love to do. Reading, jiu-jitsu, rock climbing, and basketball are a few of my favorites. So as well as introducing ourselves, we were also asked to discuss briefly the role that we think anthropology can play and should play in the native cultures of Alaska. And there were a few points that really stuck out to me when I was reading the Clifford article. The first thing I think really struck me is just the important role that anthropology can play in helping the indigenous peoples of Alaska to understand who they were and thus better understand who they are. After contact was first made by the Russians and then by the Americans, a lot of outside influences really changed the culture of the peoples in Alaska. And a lot of times, from what I understand, people almost, didn't identify themselves anymore by the previous people groups that they came from, but rather they thought of themselves as Russians or maybe as Americans. But anthropology really has helped play a key role, it seems to me, to help people really begin to identify with who they were as a people group. And by understanding who they were, it really helps them to go forward and to have more of a sense of pride and an appreciation for for their people and who they are as a community and who they can become. Another really salient point that I strongly disagreed with, or I'm sorry, that I strongly agreed with, is the importance of reciprocity in academic research. So, and even more so, actually, than being equal, I'm of the opinion, really, agreeing with some of the points in the article as well, that the weight of the decisions that are made with anthropological research in regards to the indigenous peoples of Alaska should really rest with the indigenous peoples of Alaska. In fact, I was somewhat horrified to learn that in the past, teams of researchers had gone in and excavated bones and remains of relatives and loved ones from the native peoples and taken them away to be shown in museums elsewhere in the world. In putting myself in their shoes, I really thought just how angry that I would be if outsiders came in and took away the remains of my parents or my grandparents or my great grandparents without my permission or against my will. And I just really thought how horrible that would be. And so I believe the indigenous peoples of Alaska, should have the weight of responsibility and should have the right to control when, how, and where research is conducted on or about their culture. Not just because they control the physical objects um, that are really in their possession, but also I think the intellectual property rights of things concerning their culture should also be in their possession as well. And the last thing that really stuck out to me from reading the Clifford article is just how culture is just like a tapestry. With different cultures, when there's contact made, and different people groups meeting each other, whether it's the indigenous peoples being met by the Russians or by later the Americans, and how the culture is always changing and growing, and how if a culture makes contact with another, both cultures are changed thereafter, and neither is ever quite the same. And how that can be, a frightening thing at times, but it can also be a very beautiful thing. And how it's an important key aspect of anthropology to help us understand how these cultures change and how they're interwoven with each other. So thank you very much for joining me with this video. Thank you for listening to my thoughts, and I'm very much looking forward to watching each of your videos and getting to know each of you a little more. Thank you.